Time magazine has named Elon Musk Person of the Year, which is actually an insult to any number of people who should have been named Person of the Year because Elon Musk he's the worst.
Elon Musk humiliates lefties. Hilarious. Elon Musk is a man who the overwhelming majority of people in the West seem to view as an eccentric centi-billionaire philanthropist who uses his money, technological knowledge, and influence to help humanity in his own, sometimes bizarre way. It's because of these traits,
that did connect a series of improbable events.
Such as?
plus his habit of telling the blunt truth when asked questions, that endear him to most people. There are, however, a contingent of people who absolutely despise him, who seem to despise everything about the Western way of life, making up incomprehensible new language to demoralize and destabilize the more contemporary values of Western civilization. Of course, this is the politically authoritarian left, so when Elon Musk humiliates the lefties, it's always hilarious, as we're about to see. Welcome back to Wealth Zone. Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and you'll definitely want to share this video. Now before we start, it's important to do a quick recap of history to explain exactly what is meant by the lefties. Over the last few decades, and this has been especially noticeable over the last 8 or so years, there's been a formation of sorts. A cabal has been formed between big tech, the Democratic Party, the entertainment industry, and the news media, especially the news media. These bodies, staffed now almost entirely, it seems, by hardline left-wing activists, have done everything they can to create, promote, and support movements that undermine Western civilization.
Overnight, Minneapolis on fire. Others seen looting a local Target. All of it after demonstrators approached one of the city's police precincts. Furious at the death of 46-year-old George Floyd.
From promoting the teachings of Marxist critical theory in schools,
when you talk about critical race theory, which is pretty much going to be teaching kids how to hate each other, how to dislike each other, that's pretty much, I don't care what you say, it's pretty much what it's going to all come down to. You're going to deliberately teach kids 2 medical degrees, no mom, no dad in the house, work my way through college, sat there and hustle my butt off to get through college. You going to tell me somebody that looked like all y'all white folks kept me from doing that?
to encouraging the abolition of the nuclear family and even traditional natural gender roles.
I was part of the first few girls who started Drag Queen Story Hour in New York City. So when I put on my wig on my dress, like, I'm ready to go save the world.
So what do you think a drag queen is? A queen of dragons.
To calling absolutely anyone and everyone who disagrees, even on a small scale with this radical movement, a racist, a sexist, or some other phobic terminology that they invent themselves in order to confuse people into just agreeing with them to keep the peace. They are a very small contingent of people, nowhere near as many as the rest of the now very confused human race, and they exist mostly on Twitter, which is unfortunately where the most big tech, news media, and entertainment companies also exist. But these people are actively trying to undermine common values, and the funniest part is, most people are not hardline in any direction politically. Most people are somewhere in the middle of left and right. But most people are far into libertarianism, while the so-called left are in fact just pro-authoritarianism. This comes as a surprise to most, quote-unquote, leftists because they genuinely believe that what they perceive to be the far right, which in actuality is anyone slightly to the right of full-blown Marxist, is trying to take away their freedom. What they don't perceive is that they are in fact the ones who are trying to take away people's freedoms, enforcing political correctness, and giving rise to the dreaded cancel culture. One person who knows this is Elon Musk, which is why he was very disappointed back in 2019 when people started asking if he was a socialist, which is a sort of a diet version of Marxist communism. Now, a moment about Musk. Elon Musk has spent the majority of his life as a clearly eccentric, optimistic dreamer, a man who thinks he can help the human race to get off this earthly rock and colonize Mars, who wants to make it easy and environmentally friendly to drive energy-efficient vehicles and wants anyone to be able to hack their own biology and cure diseases via microchips in their heads. All of these things could easily be warped and put to anti-human use by the left, and so he has probably had to be very careful about how he talks about these things. It's clear that if he appears to be too much of a free thinker, he will incur the wrath of the social justice warriors out there. Of course, no one successful is safe from the authoritarian Marxist leftist movement for very long. And so it is that Musk has had to step up at times to get their controlling fingers off his plans. In 2019, when he was being branded a potential socialist, it finally became time for Musk to explain his political beliefs, despite him being someone who rarely ever comments on such things. As he had said that his vision of a Martian community would have people voting directly on issues rather than through representatives, he said, "I think that's probably better, because the potential for corruption is substantially diminished in a direct versus a representative democracy." This led to a lot of discussion about his leaning politically, and Musk has said before he is openly moderate. There, I said it. One thing is for sure though, and that is that he isn't a socialist. The left despises Musk, not just for his success, but for his forward-thinking views that don't obsess over human identity politics, but rather the advancement of the species as a whole. As an example of how much the left-wing media, which is almost all of them, hate him, look at the Joy Reid mini-segment on MSNBC, The Readout, in a part called The Absolute Worst, where she was furious about Musk being named Time Magazine's Person of the Year.
Time magazine has named Elon Musk Person of the Year, which is actually an insult to any number of people who should have been named Person of the Year, because Elon Musk is, he's the worst.
Now, Reid is a vindictive and patronizing person who referred to Elon Musk as a freeloader and a selfish and disrespectful one, as well as the absolute worst, which is hilarious because she herself must be a contender for that title. But why did she do this? Well, it all began when Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren, a known hardline socialist who hypocritically hates the rich, decided to go after Musk when he was named Time's Person of the Year. On Twitter, the playground of the socialist, Warren tweeted out, "Let's change that rigged tax code so the Person of the Year will actually pay taxes and stop freeloading off everyone else." This becomes hilarious and proves the senator's incompetence when you consider that while Musk had to pay no tax at all in 2018 due to having no taxable income due to selling no shares of his stock and receiving no salary or bonus, his tax bill for the year 2021 would be the largest in US history. Musk, never one to back down from an idiot on Twitter, absolutely demolished this left-wing narrative in a series of surgical sniper shots. He began by tweeting back that, "You remind me of when I was a kid and my friend's angry mom would just randomly yell at everyone for no reason." He continued, "And if you opened your eyes for 2 seconds, you would realize I pay more taxes than any American in history this year." This is absolutely true, as his federal tax bill from stock options that he received in 2012 and exercised since comes to about $7.6 billion, with the potential to become even higher. The best part? When Musk tweeted asking Warren not to call the manager on him, calling her Senator Karen, a term for a white, left-leaning, and monstrously entitled type of woman who marches around imposing her opinions on everyone. This caused uproarious laughter from all people all over the internet who can see how capitalism works instead of just complaining about it all the time. And Joy Reid of MSNBC made herself out to be even more incompetent than people had considered when she went full social justice and implied that Musk had culturally appropriated the term Karen from black people. So you can see, once again, Musk walks away looking like the sensible, law-abiding businessman, and the left look completely ridiculous, screaming on Twitter about him like he's some kind of monster. Of course, they've done that to more people than we can count, and this kind of behavior needs to be called out. before it becomes this generation's legacy. What do you think? Make some noise in the comments, politely. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe to Wealth Zone and take a look at other videos from the channel.